What do you know? Well. Turns out aliens have off nights too. Turns out unicorns can mess up like anybody else. Or maybe Wemby is not an alien or a unicorn after all. Maybe he is a normal human. Maybe he is a mere mortal, because last night that's exactly what Wemby looked like. Turns out the path to goatness is not exactly a stroll through the park, especially not when that path to goatness runs through OKC. So my point is, if I'm going to sit here and crown his ass and call him the best player in the world, then you bet your ass I'm going to point out when he comes up way short in the biggest game of the season, and frankly, the biggest game of his career to this point. Because make no mistake, that's what happened last night. Wemby came up way short in the biggest game of the season. And if I am going to hype him up as the best player in the world, and the future, if not current face of the NBA, and this incredible leader, then I do have to call him out when he exhibits none of the above. Look, it's not like I'm going to jump ship on this guy based on one game. Still love the guy. Absolutely. I'm just saying, last night certainly was not GOAT worthy. If the standard is the standard, and that is the Wemby standard, then he did not come close to meeting that standard. Not last night. Now, credit to the Thunder for their role in that, especially Isaiah Hartenstein, who's making Wemby's life hell every night in this series. This dude is doing a better job on Wemby than anybody has. It's like the Coug Hunter, Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I'm going to make that dude's life hell in practice every day.
In training camp or something. Except it's not in practice, in training camp. It's in the Western Conference Finals. Also, credit to SGA for battling through a brutal start and still getting to the line a million times. Getting his 32, like the MVP should.
A million.
Credit to Jared McCain for sliding into the starting lineup and picking everybody up with 20 points. Of course, credit to Alex Caruso for being Alex Caruso and for bouncing back from a Game 4 goose egg with 22 points and a plus 18 performance. You know, essentially, credit to the Thunder across the board for coming out, bouncing back, and showing up like the champs in the biggest game of the season so far. I mean, that needs to be said. I need to acknowledge that. And I want to make sure I'm on record with all of that. The champs bounce back. But then again, none of that is really surprising, is it? You knew the defending champs were going to show up ready for that game. You knew the defending champs were not going to just lay down and die in their own gym. That was never going to happen, which is why San Antonio had to know that they had to bring a top-level performance to get out of there the dub last night. And especially knowing that OKC was not going to be at full strength, which they weren't again. And yet, despite all that, the Spurs were nowhere near their top level. And it wasn't just Wemby. De'Aaron Fox was straight up, how do I put this, ass. Devin Vassell was only 2 of 11 from the field. So there is a lot of blame to go around for San Antonio, but I still put most of it on Wemby, because that dude is the leader of that team. That team clearly needed better leadership than a 4 for 15 night shooting the ball, no made threes, and only 6 rebounds. They go as he goes. And that was their most important game of the year last night. They go as he goes, and last night he was nowhere to be found. That was never going to cut it. That effort was never going to get it done. That dude needs to be way more aggressive. That dude needs to impose his will. That dude, alpha that he is, needs to have a get the hell on my back, I will get us there mentality. You know, a Mamba mentality, an MJ mentality, a Wemby mentality. And yes, I understand that he's young, but he's way ahead of where those dudes were when they were at that age. So he's held to a different standard, and he knows it. This is the guy that was arguing to be the MVP this year. And then to make matters worse, on top of all of that, it certainly did appear, didn't it, that the dude ended the game by basically calling for a code red in garbage time, a.k.a. essentially ordering a hit on Jared McCain. And then after allegedly ordering the code red, Wemby just dipped out, skipped out on his media availability, so he didn't have to answer to any of these things. How poorly he played, whether or not he ordered the code red, didn't answer to any of that. So why don't we hit this one at a time? First, the alleged mafia-style hit that he ordered allegedly on Jared McCain. From the looks of it, it certainly seems like that's what happened. If you're watching along on the stream right now, you can decide for yourself. He pretty obviously was whispering in the ears of both Mason Plumlee and Bismack Biyombo, followed by some pretty obvious hard fouls on Jared McCain. I mean, very stealth, really sneaky fellas. And they didn't even try and deny it, apparently, because McCain joked about getting threatened at the free throw line after the game.
That was crazy. I didn't expect it. Obviously, we were at the free throw line too, and I was like, "Why'd you do that, man?" I'm just asking him a question, and he was like, "I got another one for you too." I'm like, "All right, damn, let me to the corner real quick. Let's finish this game out." But it's all in competition, so gotta respect it. But definitely wasn't aware that my team told me after, like, just get to the corner at the end of the game.
Wow, I mean, everything's funny when you win, but dude was incredulous, like. Why did you do that, man? Meanwhile, these goons were like, hey, yo, there's plenty more where that came from. I don't know, Unicorn. Maybe instead of ordering hits, allegedly, while leaving the game, maybe you exert a little more of your own force while you're in the game. Easy, Tanya. Where was Galooly in the lead pipe? Why? And McCain was laughing. He wasn't. Why, Plumlee? Why, Plumlee? Why, Plumlee? I mean, it's all pretty goofy. And all pretty funny to me, and clearly to McCain, too. He was having fun with it. Obviously, it's dangerous to be ordering hard fouls on anyone if that's what happened. And obviously, it's sketchy for the league to have their future face so obviously caught doing it if he did it. I think there'll probably be some sort of alien-to-alien communication about this. I assume that Adam Silver will warn Wemby in their ability to communicate among aliens. Telepathically, telekinetically, alien to alien, that we cannot send enforcers out onto the floor in garbage time like that.
You want another one?
Now, Spurs fans, before you freak out on me, I will acknowledge the following. We did all notice an enforcement issue in this series already. We've all noticed Wemby getting roughed up and nothing being done about it. We've all noticed the ref show looking the other way when it comes to physicality with Wemby. So something had to be done at some point. Wemby had enough. I mean, you got to admit, OKC is really physical, and then when they have the ball, they go down like they were shot every time there's incidental contact. Obviously, the Spurs have had enough. Wemby had enough. That's why he allegedly ordered the code red. Now, I don't know why it took all the way until the end of Game 5 for San Antonio to put some goons out there on the floor to take up for their leader. But I'm not at all surprised that it happened. Again, it just shouldn't be the face of the franchise and the future face of the league leaning over to obviously, allegedly, whisper a code red order. I mean, shouldn't the head coach or an assistant coach or really anybody employed by the Spurs, not named Wemby, be saying, hey, can somebody look out for our franchise guy, please, if the ref show's not going to? Now, code red, I can actually live with. But then there's following that up by dipping out on the media. And that's not cool. Yeah. Of course, Rome. Of course, Mr. Media Man. Of course, you have a problem with that. It's not that. It's not that. And it's not a crime against all of humanity. But I'm going to tell you why I'm holding this guy to a different standard. It's not that. It's not me being a member of the media being all butthurt because he didn't talk to the media. I wasn't there. It's not that he wouldn't talk to me. I'm just saying it's bad form for that guy. It's poor leadership from a guy touted as a generational leader. And again, before you say to me, come on, man, cut him some slack. He's young. He's not any ordinary 22-year-old. We've already made this really clear. We're already talking about this guy standing up and saying, I think I'm the MVP right now. I want to be the future face of this league. He's in the Western Conference Finals. This dude is not just some 22-year-old. He's unlike any 22-year-old, in fact, that we've ever seen in that league. Think of all the greats. None of them were what this guy is right now. So don't come at me with, he's young, get off his back. First of all, meeting with the media is mandated. It's mandated by the league. You have to do it. It's part of the job, period. But to me, that's not the actual issue here. The actual issue here is that this team clearly leans on this dude for leadership. And instead of leading after that clunker, he just pieced out the back door. Man, that's not accountability. That's not leadership. That's not ownership. And that's not really the Wemby that we know, or at least the Wemby we think we know. And again, this is not some game in the middle of January. This is the most important game and the most important moment of the year. This is it. This is the game. The Spurs needed their leader to lead them on the floor last night, and then when it didn't go well, lead them in taking accountability and ownership for whatever happened in that game. And he did neither. He failed on both. This guy sets the tone. So I don't say this to take a run at Wemby or to be overly harsh on this guy. I say this because it's just the truth. And if I'm going to sit up here and say, wow, and gush, wow, never seen a guy like this. This dude could end up being the greatest of all time. This dude is already the best player in the world. This dude already is transcendent. Yeah, well, if I'm going to sit here and do this all the time, and I do, on a night when he does not meet that standard, I'm going to call him on that too. His own standard is the GOAT standard. And if that's the standard, he came up way short. GOATs don't play their worst game in the biggest game of the season, then take their ball and go home afterwards without answering to it. And if the Spurs want to even push this to a Game 7, let alone win this series, they're going to need a hell of a lot more from Wemby. A hell of a lot more from Wemby. They're going to need like a 40-20 Wemby game. They're going to need this guy to go back to being an alien and a GOAT rather than a mere mortal to have any hope to force a Game 7. Otherwise, the Thunder have this wrapped up already. And yes, I know people hate them. And they do, too. And yes, I know the ref show keeps making horrendous calls. And they do as well. And they all seem to go OKC's favor. I'll even acknowledge that. But I will say once again today that the ref show, as ass as they were last night, that's not why the Thunder won last night, and it's not why they won last year, and it's not why their best player is the back-to-back MVP. You saw exactly why SGA is the back-to-back MVP last night and why Wemby's not quite there yet. SGA came through when they needed it from him, and Wemby did not when they needed it from him. So what I'm saying is the big fella picked a really bad night to have a really bad game. And SGA gave the Thunder exactly what they needed, even after he got off to a bad start. But I know. Everybody hates the free throw merchant and his generational whistle and his generational flop. You know, frankly, it's even getting hard for me to defend the guy anymore. Ordinarily, I would say it would be the Knicks versus the world. Like the entire world would want the Knicks to lose if the Knicks ever did return to the finals. Except the Knicks are in the finals. They did make it back. And if the Thunder do finish the Spurs, believe me, more people will be rooting for the Knicks than the Thunder. That's how much people are starting to hate OKC for being as physical as they are defensively, but flopping around and hitting the deck like soccer players in the 90s. People are so sick of SGA, they're actually ready to ride with these freaks.
On that jersey, who the wants to go to Ohio? LeBron to my the Knicks going to the finals. It's like Jesus returning. We smoking on the pad. Bounce up! Bounce up! But looking like New Year's. Hey, yo, how you get a flag up there? Tell James Harden, Mom, I'm coming for dinner. James Harden, them strip club. Get the off the strip club. Donovan Mitchell, we not delivering to your house no more. That's the finals. Jalen Brunson, it's the go. I don't speak no French, Wembanyama. You gonna send that back to France? Word. Get your forward, baby. Smoking all that Cleveland back. If we win the finals, we burning the city down.
Oh, I believe that guy. I believe that dude. If they win the finals, they will burn that city down. I'm afraid if they win the finals, they'll declare nuclear war on themselves.
Burning.
That guy at the end's like, if we win the finals, we're going to burn this city down. Oh, I believe him. I believe him. Look at the way they're acting right now. That's how they're acting right now after beating Cleveland, a 500 team, to get to the finals. If they're acting like that after beating the Cavaliers, can you imagine how they would act if they win 4 more, win the finals, and beat the defending champs or Wemby to get there? Dang. They might burn that city down. They might anyways. They wait. Wild. All right, so what's going to happen? 1-800-636-8686. Good news is they go back to San Antonio. Wemby generally responds. I expect Wemby to respond. I expect him to have a big game. If he shows up in any way like he did last night, that series is already over. If he shows up the way I expect him to show up, then we're going to get a game 7. But they had an opportunity last night. Again, OKC was without 2 of their best players, and they had a real opportunity and didn't take advantage of it.